And we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I would like to welcome our new interim executive director, Christina Shepard Decius, sorry. So we approved onboarding her at our last meeting, and she's been fast at work, getting lots of stuff done for us, so happy to have her, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not take roll call. Go ahead.
Chair St. Laurent,
Present.
Vice Chair Lee, Secretary Rose,
Here?
Director Bowers,
Here.
Director Hutnick,
Here.
Director Oswald. Here. Am I saying that right?
Yes, Oswald, yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're correct, thank you.
Director Poznansky, Director Van Warmer. Okay.
All right, so now we are down to approval of agenda. We need a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second.
Those are notes that are down here on the agenda. They're just notes.
Can we add an item under 10E for the treasurer's position? Are you okay adding that to your motion?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of E for the treasurer's position. And we have a second, so we can do,
I'll second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Approval of the minutes from the July meeting. Everyone should have had a chance to review these.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the July 1st DDA regular board meeting.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed? All right, that brings us to public forum. If anyone, oh, you guys have a special spot.
I have something separate.
Okay, good. Sorry.
All right, I have a couple of things for you.
Money, good.
I'm a little out of breath, run out to the car. So what I have there is the receipt, or the cashed check from the Rotary to Brittany Rodriguez, the face painter, which you wanted a copy of. So that's there. I also have a check from me in the amount of $200, because apparently on the brochure, where I had a little postcard, or business card size thing saying I was happy to be a volunteer for the DDA, I thought that was given as a kind of thank you for being a volunteer, and apparently that wasn't. Somebody changed their mind and decided, nope, those are supposed to be paid for. I didn't know about that until I watched a recording of the last meeting. So I was a little surprised that a number of people on this board have my phone number, my email, text me, Facebook friends, and nobody said anything. So I just want to make it clear for the record I did not take anything free. That is my $200 to pay for that little spot on the brochure. The reason that I took that as a in-kind for the volunteer hours that I had is that on the brochure, as you saw, I said I was proud to be a DDA volunteer, signed Sharon Smith, the Romeo Rotary. I'm president of the Romeo Rotary this year, which I'm proud of. I also thought that perhaps, putting it proud to be a volunteer, it might get more people to think, oh, I want to volunteer as well. And I know the conversation went after my name was brought up as not having paid for that spot, that we can't just mention everybody, because then every volunteer would want to be on a brochure or something like that. So it was apparently known that I was given that gratis. But it doesn't hurt to give yourselves, your volunteers a shout out. So that was it. I just wanted to point that out.
So the next is our financial report. You're up.
Okay, yeah, all right. And we do have an overview in your packet from Plant Moran. And your statements in your packet include the financial for year-end, fiscal year-end, June 30, 2024, as well as this current month's position for July. For fiscal year-end, your total assets included $249,666.05. In liabilities, same number. If you flip over to the next page, your fund balance is at $287,270.83. Your activities are listed in here, as well as then for your July position, your fund balance is then showing at $267,151.49. Overall, there are a couple items that we did need verification for. We needed verification in relation to the Vintage Fest of the vendor payment for Wolfman Music for $300, the Brittany Rodriguez, for $375. And I am probably going to slaughter this last name too, Mark Lipke, at $250. We also need verification of the sponsor donations received then from Mark Hackle and Romeo Rotary. So with the Rotary one today for that Brittany, that would clarify that, and it would just be then the Mark Hackle donation and then the two other vendor payments that we would just need receipt of. There have been a total deposits of $1,397.72 that included interest income as well as donations from the Vintage Fest. Any other questions on that? Well, as I stated earlier, that the check from Mark Hackle was written out to not his bank name. The check had to be rewritten, and I have, you want to pass this down? Sure. Okay, here's an extra one, it's yours. This is for Mark Hackle and Donald Kelly, not Matt Kelly. Okay. And as far as Mark Lutke, his money is still sitting at the restaurant. I sent him multiple messages, and he knows it's there. I don't know what you want me to do with it. Oh, okay.
It's still there, he knows it, and he said, I'll stop in soon.
I have a question. So this is the Mark Hackle, this is this one, correct?
Yeah, it's
This-
$450, it's not $300. I don't know where the $300 came from. It's always been $450.
And then for Mark, he's waiting to pick up his payment. Who provided his payment?
RSI.
RSI is paying
Yes.
for him. Okay.
And his is actually $200.
Not 250?
No, the 250, let me see. Hang on a minute.
So we did have the spreadsheet in the packet.
Yes.
As well for you, so.
So, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I'm noting this correctly. Where the payment for Wolfman Mac was done by,
Mark Hackle.
okay, so it's $450 from our capital goes
Yes.
to Wolfman, okay.
And Mark Lutke is $250. I apologize.
Okay, so that is 2.
Yeah,
It is
Okay.
it is $250.
And then Romeo Rotary went to Brittany Rodriguez. Okay. And then,
And you said RSI paid for Mark.
Yes,
but his payment's just waiting to be picked up?
yes.
So, okay.
And do we have a copy of that?
It's cash.
Oh, it's cash.
Okay. And then shirts. Did we get a final count of the shirts?
Yes, I sent all that over to,
I think that's in the packet, isn't it?
yeah. That was all sent over through an email. Is it in this packet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is in the packet.
Yes. I have 75 shirts on hand. And I have $60 in cash with me right now of the shirts that I sold at the restaurant. So if you can see it, I have we ordered 200 shirts. 49 was given out to the volunteers. 20 for prizes and raffles. FAM sold 14. I saw that you received his check for the 14.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. And then Kathy sold 8 at MJC. We sold 27 at the diner, plus I have, and then plus 7 would be 34. And then I have $60 today. Do you want this, or do you want Christine to have it?
I'll take it. and
I just
Yeah.
need a signature on my
Like-
receipt,
Yep.
if you don't mind.
So what's the plan with the remaining shirts?
What do you want me to do with them?
Well, I don't know, it's not up to me, it's up to the board. I'm just trying to ask the question.
I can sell them, get my receipt, or return them to you guys.
See what he wrote, so there. Right way.
So they're dated?
Yeah.
They have a date on them?
I haven't even seen them.
I don't remember
2024.
what they
They
were.
have the logo on them.
Okay.
The logo with the date.
It says 24 on it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You keep the top one. The copy, I just want something. Thank you.
Yep.
We can mark them down and sell them, whatever you guys want. I think our cost per shirt was $12?
$12.
Yeah, I believe.
I mean, if you're fine selling them, that, I mean, doesn't, I don't know if anyone
I don't have a problem, but
has any opinion on it.
Well, people are still purchasing, obviously.
yes. Yeah.
You just gave us a check for that amount, so.
All right, so everything's balanced with the exception of Mark picking up his payment?
Correct.
Correct?
The other thing I think we wanted to note is, initially the budget was at $7,600, and total expenditures with everything that was both from the DDA and then through other sources, right? We were at $11,354.81. So, one, that's over the budget, and I think it's something that you would want to consider when considering next year's budget, is to know what those expenses are and if you need to make any modifications to your budget.
Yep.
Moving forward. And then also, I think that for the records for Plant Moran to be able to do the accounting accurately, we need to have things running through the account, the DDA account.
Yes.
This year, what we'll do is we're taking all those records and we'll do a journal entry to acknowledge that. So you'll see that probably in September for your September meeting.
So I just handed out to everyone just kind of our review of everything to kind of clear it up so we don't have to keep trying to find out where everything's at. It just helps me.
And me.
I'm old, so I need to have it all right there. So on that first page, it's just basically everything, all the checks that were written out by the DDA, the check number, if they've cleared, as far as I know, as of what we just received here. Romeo Gold, I wasn't able to find out if that had been cleared or not because it has not been on the last reconciliation report, so I haven't seen, it's not on there whether it's cleared or non-cleared on that. So the total amount of checks that have been written out by the DDA are $6,459.81. Then on the next sheet, those are the donations, the in-kind donations that, as we were just trying to get the last of it for the different activities. Those were paid by the in-kind donations, which we just talked about. And then also the Heartbreakers, they were also paid by the cash that we had on hand the day of the event, the $980 that we received for the car fees, plus $20 in cash from T-shirt sales. So we were able to pay them because we did not have the checks available that day to pay the entertainment. So, and they needed theirs that day because they were flying back to Florida. Then the donations that actually were just paid, just donations directly to the DDA, you'll see there, those are all spelled out there. And then the car show fees, I kind of broke that down. We had 92 cars at $15, 10 cars at $10. So what we did is if they had more than one car, we gave them a discount. So if they had 2 cars, it was $20. So that's why that's different. We had to have $15 refunded to 2 of the vendors, or to the car show people, because they didn't want to move. So anyway, that's the only way we can get them to move is to get their money back, and off they went. Vendor street market fees, we had 10 vendors at $100, and that was $1,000. And then T-shirt sales, as I knew of until then, I think that we have more as at that point. So that just to clarify anything with, mostly for you, Christy.
Yep.
Since you weren't here with all of this.
No.
Yeah, but if you have any questions, please feel free to call me.
Okay.
In that.
Okay, so if there's any other questions, otherwise we can entertain a motion to approve payment of the bills.
I don't have a motion, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Christina, now with what, you're jumping in midstream here, so I appreciate that. Regarding Vintage Fest, do you now have information that will get us to where we need to be to get this all reported? Or do you think there's still something we need to
I think
answer or
so.
clarify?
Yeah, let me just double check my list. So probably the only thing is how we're going to handle the cash payment, reconciling that. So I'll probably just need to ask Julie with Plant Moran how best to handle that.
Would it be better,
It would be
would it
great
be
if
better
you would-
to give the cash to the DDA and write out a
Have the
check?
DDA write the check.
Probably.
I would
Yeah.
prefer to do it that way. That way,
probably.
there's no,
That way it's done.
it's done.
And we can close it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be good.
that's what,
Yeah, that's the reason for my question. I want to try to get this closed, and we can't,
Oh,
while there's still
no more
stuff
than we
out there,
do.
we
yeah,
can't.
yeah, so,
If you're willing to close this, then yes. If you guys have
I would rather do it that way
solutions, my
and
suggestion-
leave me out of it at that point.
My suggestion is to try to close it instead of
Yeah.
keeping it hanging. We're doing this
that's where
again.
I'm at
Right.
with this.
Back at it
Let's
next
do it.
month, yeah.
Yep.
So, okay, yeah, if you just want to bring it, and then we'll write a check and send the check to him. Do you have an address for him?
No. I
Do
don't
you have
have anything.
some sort of contact for him?
No, he will pick it up at the restaurant. That's what he told me, multiple times.
He's a customer of hers at the restaurant.
He lives somewhere in Sterling Heights or Shelby, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think he wants me to know where he lives. I don't know.
Was he, so he was...
He's a magician, he doesn't live.
Oh,
So he just disappeared.
He does.
He's gone.
I've used him multiple times for the past 10 years. I just don't know where he lives.
He appears?
He disappears. He's really good at his trade.
He is very good. The community uses him for everything. He pops in and pops out.
Parks and Rec use them? Mm-hmm. Maybe Parks and Rec
Yeah, we'll
has
see
it.
if they...
Yeah, they might have it.
Track them down somehow.
Track 'em
right?
down.
Okay. I'm in on Wednesday this week, so I can always stop by and
Yeah.
pick that up.
So my other comments, other comment on this is, I know you guys struggled with getting all this because you didn't have a lot of like direction off the bat. So I just want to make sure that when we have events in the future, this is really done a lot smoother, so we're not having to talk about it for 4 meetings, so.
Oh, absolutely. It would have been nice.
I would say I would champion you to come up with a better system.
Well, it would have been nice to have
Actually,
like,
there was no system, to be
No,
honest.
that- yeah, it
To
explains
be
that
honest with you, I got a page. Here it is. This is what we did last year.
Right.
But there is a
And-
system and a program in place for donations.
Right.
So we have
And that's where
Yeah.
it kind of got muddied, so to speak, and so
So
Right.
we were
just-
confused on that, and so that's really where I feel like when you say system, that's where it kind of got a little bit unharried at the very end, because we were under the understanding we could take in-kind donations,
Yeah.
which we did.
I mean, you
and
guys
we
put a
did
lot of
well
effort into it.
With that.
This is
But-
not a lack of effort by any means.
But-
I think that, just in general, we don't want anybody to have to go through that again. So,
no, it would have been nice too if.
Me, myself, if I'm running an event.
Yeah,
you don't want that.
It would have been nice if we had like a board member at every other meeting or something, so that as we are proceeding along with this event, you could have nipped it in the butt right away. Say, oh, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's where we struggled.
No, and I understand that, but in fairness, I mean, you are both board members, and where we kind of went astray here was the donation aspect of it.
Right. That's exactly where it all
That's the
went.
only piece that kind of went
Yep.
wonky, is we do not accept donations for events. We have the board-approved donation program, and that's what we have to follow. But I think we're all on the same page with that going forward.
Yeah.
It's on our
Absolutely.
website, so if at any point, any, board member or Christina, if you're ever approached with, I'd love to make a donation to the DDA, we direct them to the
Yeah.
website where it has the protocol that the board approved for donations.
And in clarity, the donation is not for a particular event.
Correct.
It's just to the DDA. So I think that's where maybe we
The
don't want to advertise
misinformation came in.
improperly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not donating to like the Vintage Fest, you're donating
know-
to us, and then we figure out.
Right.
I would like to, and in that note, just real quick, I know we don't want to spend a lot of time on this, we have a lot to cover, but I would like to bring that to the board about rethinking of this. And the reason being is because this happened, I get we have the program, and it's, we want to donate to the DDA, and I don't know if you've run into this before, Christine, or not, but what we were finding is the people want to donate to the event, not to the DDA.
True.
So, and there was some confusion when I did send people, I was sending businesses to the website so they could look at that. They were confused and they said, no, I want to actually donate to this particular event. So I would like to, not today, obviously, but in the future, I would like to bring that up and maybe relook at that for events. And I know we decided not to do a lot of events, which I'm for, maybe 2 a year or whatever we decide to do. But I feel like at that point, if we do want to accrue some monies for helping out with events, I think we need to relook at that in order to to go move forward with it.
And it's something, we can definitely revisit that. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think we just need to make sure that if we do revisit it and we have someone that says, I want to donate $500 to this event, whatever it may be, then the amount of budgeted money that we put towards that event stays the same. It doesn't enlarge the budget for the event. So if we have an event that has a $10,000 budget and someone says, I want to donate 500, that budget doesn't become 10,500. It's still 10,000. That's what the board agreed to.
That's what I'd like to revisit.
Yeah.
So that's.
That's
there's no
exactly what
way
I would
we
like
could
to
have-
revisit.
Put that on for
Yeah.
$7,000. There's
But
just
it-
no way.
And I don't disagree with you, but what we can't have is when the board agrees to a number
Right.
for it to be changed without
Right.
board approval.
And you know, the money that was raised, was it $5,000? That was raised in an hour and a half.
I
And they
don't question
couldn't-
that.
Right, and they were so thrilled to be included in this.
Right.
I
So
don't
if-
disagree
yeah.
with any of that, but we still have to have board approval
Yep,
when we
right.
make decisions.
Yep, absolutely.
That's why we have to
But
have a
that's why-
quorum at the meeting. That's why we go to vote.
Yeah. So let's just revisit that in the
Yeah.
future.
Absolutely. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve payment of the bills?
So you feel comfortable enough to approve this? In general, have you got enough information?
Yeah, I have enough information, for sure. Yep.
I'll motion to approve the bills, yeah.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and this will do roll call, Christina.
And I'm sorry, I missed who seconded. I didn't look up.
Kathy.
Thank you. I didn't look up fast enough.
Come on, get quick.
I know, right? It's like, well, and it's these readers that kind of throw me off a little bit, too. All right, so Laurent? St. Laurent, sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Rose?
No.
Bowers?
Yes.
Hutnick?
Yes.
And Oswald?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes.
All right, that brings us to funding requests. We have not received any funding requests in the last month, so we can move into unfinished business. Employee committee update. We have not met since the last meeting, so we don't have anything to update. We did talk today, Christina and I, and one of the services that we have with Christina is doing some of that job search and vetting of potential employees for us, because we don't get to keep her forever. So we did talk a little bit about that today and some different routes that we'll go. And then once she starts getting some candidates, she'll bring it back to the employee committee for interviews.
So I have a question, though. How did we find her? How were you
How did
found?
we get here?
How
Do
Yeah.
you want me to explain?
Yeah, the dynamic, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am the chair of the Michigan Downtown Association. I have over 20 years of downtown management experience, and through the MDA, the executive director there had been, I believe, working with both you and Danielle during kind of this last year with a number of issues that have come up, and providing information and guidance and suggestions, and basically connected us, saying, you know what, she might be available for interim services right now, because I have recently come off of a couple other projects, so it's kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, we had reached out and said, can you help us find some venues
great,
to identify employees, because we weren't really getting what we wanted kind of on our own. So,
And I think it's great. I'm part of the employee committee, and this is the first I heard about all this.
well, this wasn't an employee committee. This was the last board meeting.
Okay.
This was presented at the board meeting as an expenditure.
Okay.
Because she's not a hired employee,
Right.
she's a contract worker.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad you're here.
Yes.
Happy to be here.
All right, Shakespeare in the Village. Ladies?
All right, this is still on. So I believe Linda gave everyone a packet
Should be this one with the green paper in it.
for the Shakespeare in the Village. So this was, I don't know, I think the idea was conceived by Andrea. I think, because you're the one I heard heard it from. Just, we should do this, and I would love to volunteer. So that's why I'm here. Anyway, so we've got Saturday, October 19th, festivities going on from about 11 till 5. The performance is basically going to be the Sonnet Man, Lou Fazzini, has a group of kids, and remind me, because I think, Andrew, you had found him too. Is he Macomb County?
He's with All
Performing
the World's
Arts?
a Stage.
All the World's a Stage,
Yep.
thank you. So he has some young performers who are going to be working with this young man, Devin Glover, who's known as the Sonnet Man. He's from Brooklyn, and he does basically Shakespeare to hip-hop. There was some music infused in there, and so that's who he is. So it's going to be quite different. So some of the activities that we are trying to put together include some face painting, maybe doing a court jester, magician. We're looking at doing Renaissance theme kind of cutouts for people who could do selfies and things like that, putting them around town. We've got in the packet, there's a bright colored page. I think everybody's got green ones. We're going to be, Linda and I are going to be taking those around to the businesses this week and hoping to get them to come and meet at the DDA office on the 14th of this month to learn about this and to see who would like to, kind of take part in this by doing something special at their business. Whether it's, having some fortune tellers there, or hair wreaths for some of the hair salons. We have on the Shakespeare in the Village, it says DDA businesses, fortune tellers, beard contest, tattoo contest. So just some ideas that we want to throw out there for the businesses that they could do, at their location to kind of draw in some people who are here for the day. I think that covers all of it.
I was just going to add, one of the things that we thought of too,
Just go to the microphone.
this is,
And if you don't mind stating your name for the record, please.
My name is Sharon Smith. I'm at
Caught that earlier.
Okay, 377 North Main. We always give addresses too, so.
mine's Linda St. Laurent.
Okay.
So the only thing I wanted to add, what Sharon said was, I just hope that we can get it across to the merchants that, and the businesses, the DDA is doing it for you. So all you have to do is come up with something and we'll promote it, we'll run with it. And I thought of it, and I didn't put this on at the end, but you know how the Renaissance period has that type of long flag, and it usually has, that look.
On the horns.
On the horn, yeah. That if a merchant or a business did participate, we would give them one to have in their window, so people would know when they came to town. Almost like a mini Renaissance is going on in town, but the main thing, and I can't stress enough, I know even myself, when I heard he raps, Shakespeare's sonnet, this guy's been on the Today Show. He has won awards. He has his own following. Wherever he goes, he promotes that he's going to be there. So it's not just some guy that had an idea. He is a professional. And Lou Fazzini, who works for All the World's a Stage, he is giddy that this guy is coming and that he will come in. And he'll come for a week. He'll work with All the World's a Stage. He'll open it up if there's other children, or I shouldn't say children, adults or young adults, or I guess kids that want to participate and learn. He'll teach them, and then the performance goes on. The performance is interactive. When he's doing his rapping or singing it or whatever, he's bringing people in. They said the response, and that's why, I could go on and on, but the write-up is in this package. It was easier for me to just make up this package for you all to see. So it's what we would like to offer, what's going on in the DDA. The main thing is that the Sonnet Man is coming to town, and he is a one-man show. We wouldn't have to do anything extra and just have him. And the Starkweather was so nice to open their building upstairs, because I was worried if we did it in the park, and what if, after all that, it rains? So this way, Dave at Starkweather said, no, you can have it upstairs, so that's going on. If we never did anything in the downtown area, just having the Sonnet Man coming and the word he puts out, and people that know about him will bring people to Romeo. So if we have that, why not include the downtown and let everybody have a win-win situation? So we will be having that meeting on the 14th, like you said. And then I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, and the last thing that I included was, speaking of budgets, is your budget sheet, and the first thing off of this would be the expense of the Sonnet Man, which is $5,300, and I believe we have a $10,000 budget.
Correct.
And what else? And then this flyer that's going on, and I understand, Christine, you may also follow up with sending the flyer out too?
Yes, yeah.
As a backup, you know.
Yeah, yep.
I have a
Any
question.
questions? Yeah.
Yes, so it's upstairs at the Starkweather?
His performance is upstairs. Sonic Man's performance is upstairs.
So is there a way for anybody in wheelchairs? I mean, is there an elevator over
To be
there?
very honest with you, I don't know. I'll have
Yeah,
to
is it
check that
handicap
out.
accessible? And is only are the performances only at Starkweather upstairs?
Right now it is, yeah. But
Yeah,
that's
'cause he's the
something I never
performer.
even- Pardon?
He is the
Because
performer.
he's the performer.
He's
Okay,
the performer,
okay.
and there'll be other skits that he'll involve all the world to stage with.
But he
Okay, so
orchestrates.
I guess I'm a little confused. So all the world's a stage will be with him,
Correct,
and they'll be doing the
Upstairs.
performances upstairs?
as a group.
He
As a
does his
group.
main thing, and then the kids that he has workshopped with that week.
And what's the capacity for the performances upstairs?
I believe it's just under 100.
Under
but I
100.
can
And
get
how
that
many
information for
performances
you.
will he be holding?
One, and it's about 2 hours. And there's not a cost to it, so it'd be a case of like,
So it's-
first come, first serve,
100 people.
yeah. Which would be wonderful, but then again, there may be 25, 30, I don't know. What's your concern that I can look into for you?
That we're going to spend $5,000 for 100 people.
You're spending it for
10,000.
that? Yeah,
Well, I
see what
mean,
you're
it's
saying,
the
yeah.
performance is 5,000,
Right,
right? So-
right. It's not just his performance, he does come and do a workshop. And we are also alerting the high school theater and music group to let them know if they would like to participate in that.
Okay.
But you asked something else that I think is important, the access to the building.
Handicap
Handicap accessibility.
Well, that, yeah, but I mean,
No, that's very important. I never
that's
even thought of
extremely
that.
important. I'm just thinking we're keying it down for one performance for 100 people.
And that's,
that-
that's up to you,
Is
the
it-
board
to
to
the board
decide.
to
I mean,
Well, yeah, so the board approved $10,000 for this event based around this person coming in. If it's something that the board, does not want to do, then they,
Right.
I think the concept is to be that he's coming in, there's the workshops throughout, and he is kind of the catalyst to create the buzz throughout the downtown of having the actual event through town.
Along the lines of Kathy's questions here, so the performance, and then we're having a meeting on the 14th, we want business owners to come.
Right.
I want to ask, how are we helping the businesses to piggyback of this wonderful performance? Like okay, first of all, time frame says 11 to 5.
Right.
For this event.
Right.
The performance I heard was 2 hours.
I think it's, 2.5
So
hours.
it sounds like there's something else brewing here for the rest of those hours.
Whatever the merchants want to do to draw people in. If they want to have
And are you
something.
going to have, I know you're going to have a meeting, so I don't want
Uh-huh.
to say you tell us that meeting right now, but you're going to have some suggestions, some ideas. Is he going to participate in the businesses that want to participate as far as bringing in workshop participants or performances like that? Or are we talking about the businesses coming up with just some sort of special on their own?
Promotions on their-
Something like that?
Well, there's suggested items.
There's suggested items for businesses, but as far as, you mean is, I forget his first name, Devin. Is Devin going to come to the businesses? Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
no, so the suggested items that you're referring to, are we helping the business with those items, or are we just on our own As a
Are
business
the
owner.
businesses on their own?
Okay, here it says fortune teller.
Okay, so,
I have to go find a fortune teller
no,
and
if
bring
you,
them in.
we'll have, do you want a fortune teller at your place? Here's a number of a fortune teller.
So then we would have to pay for that fortune teller to be in our place.
That would be your expense.
So that doesn't come out of the budget, that would be out of the businesses?
Right.
Am I
Right.
correct with that? Okay.
But
Clarifying that.
all the advertisement,
And
if
how
you
is the
feel it's-
advertising going to be?
advertisement will be on Facebook, which is a number one, also in the paper, also, through papers out in the area. And like I said, this gentleman, when he does his advertising, it'll be in the format that we tell him that it's a whole village atmosphere going on at that time.
So it's not just going to be one business or two that's going to be promoted, it's the whole DDA district?
It's the DD, it's happening in the village of Romeo.
Okay.
But when it comes to what's happening at your restaurant, you're having turkey legs, drumsticks are on special. If you're having a special, you're going to have someone out there braiding their hair like they did in the Renaissance days with the bows and the flowers in it. You're going to have some special drink.
So what if there's a business that's going to be open during that time, but not participating in any of these? Will they still be promoted?
Well, we
Like-
always promote.
They're promoted by virtue of being in the village, but they're not going to be mentioned because they don't have anything going on. That's, if I'm doing that correctly, they're not.
Well, I think it would probably be billed as, Shakespeare in the Village, come to Romeo, blah, blah, blah. And then just like we do with our weekly highlights, let's highlight people who are doing something specific towards the event. So that we always promote the entire district and everyone within it. Now, if someone's saying, I'm doing something additional, just like we've done for every other event, you would highlight someone who has maybe something special going on. Otherwise, there's nothing to promote for the event. There's no event if people don't do something.
I guess my thought is like if A and B are two businesses in the village, A is going to do something pertaining to this event, Shakespeare in the Village, and B isn't. B, by virtue of being there, yeah, I guess he's going to get the people, but A is going to get the advertisement. Does that make sense?
I guess, I'm just a little confused because we pretty much did the same thing with Vintage Fest. Am I looking at it wrong?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, forget it.
No, I want to
Well, that's how we did, advertisement, like Sharon with her volunteer. I mean, she gave excess amount of hours, and we put her on the brochure.
Right.
So what's the difference if we were to say, I'm going to do turkey legs and Kathy's not going to do anything? You're going to
Right.
put me on the flyer, but not Kathy.
But you're not being listed as a sponsor of the event. You're being listed as an activity within the village.
Okay.
The issue with what happened before
Yes.
was that people were being listed as sponsors, and we have a sponsorship program that
Okay.
wasn't followed. So
The
that's
DDA is
that's the
sponsoring
difference.
this. To me, I used to have a business in town. To me, this is like something I can take advantage of to promote my business. And if the store next to me decides not to do it, yeah, they're gonna get some business fallout from the people that come.
And they should, because they pay the taxes
Right,
as well.
But I will be mentioned
Because
because
I mean,
something's going on at my place.
I think that what we have to think about when you're talking about marketing is if we say we're going to have any event, right? We're going to have Christmas in the village and not one merchant wants to do anything Christmassy, how do we advertise that? Then there's nothing happening. There is no event. So we do have to, when you're marketing anything, you do have to kind of highlight those special things that make it different than any other day of the week of just
No, I
coming.
get it.
If we just label it something and no one does anything, then it's just another Saturday.
So the DDA's contribution is we're going to pay for the Sonnet Man, correct?
That's one, and then all of the advertising and promotions.
How much is that?
Well, the budget's 10,000, so he's about 5,300, and then the remainder goes to advertising. I think there was money for some of, like we were saying, those signage in the windows,
Okay.
any other things that go on for the event.
Nothing has been done.
No.
No contract, nothing has been signed. So decide if that's something you want us to do,
Yeah.
I'll volunteer to do it. If you're not interested or you don't think it works, I accept that too.
And I agree with you, I mean, the board has to decide because this guy gets booked, so we need to get on his calendar if he's holding the date for us. But I think we also need to think about if we're not going to do it, which is up to this board, that's why we come and we vote as a group, then what's the event, right? Like, is there an event to even have at that point? And what's the draw of it? So I think we need to think about that as well.
So is the action today to approve contracting Sonic Man then?
Correct.
So in October, do we have any other events in October?
We've only approved 2 events, Vintage Fest and this event.
So the idea I like, but October to me seems really heavily geared around Halloween, pumpkins, all the things we're good at. Seems like we should maybe have an event that more gears around that. Like in the park, maybe have could we sponsor like a farmer's market or something for the week? I don't know. I mean, this is a great idea, but I just don't know about the time of the year. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, we could. We'd have to go back to our budget, because this is what we agreed for on the budget. And then, now it's October, so we got to see if someone wants to take on doing a different event in a month and a half.
I like the concept, the idea, but I feel like, and I think going on with Paul, I agree, Paul, like, I think October should be more fall, that type of thing, which I'd like to see this more spread out through the downtown area, not just through the merchants, but I don't know, I was envisioning them like
Going around town?
going in the streets and performing or performing outside, and I know there's always the weather thing, right? Obviously, that can kill any.
We even tried, our first thought was Masonic Temple. They got the stage.
Yes.
They also have haunted,
Right,
haunted house.
haunted house.
Yeah.
Right, but I guess I envision more of the, kind of like the Renaissance look of
Exactly.
being outside and having it down Main Street. I kind of feel that I don't know if we'd get the impact. My concern with if we get the impact on just having it upstairs, one performance, 100 people, and the businesses can do all kind of things, but this is the main event. And I'm just kind of, I'd like to see that main event open to more people than 100 people.
Right.
I feel like it needs to be in a bigger venue for this to be, like this guy, from what you're saying, I like to see it, obviously, but
Right, yeah.
it sounds like it's really cool and really neat. It could really be something. I love the fact that you want to bring the high school in and that. But I feel like I would like to see that where more people could see it than just 100.
And I don't disagree.
Yeah, I think that it's very limited.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of big spaces, in Romeo, so it's trying to find the ones
Right.
that we can work with.
Can we move it to a different month and
Could we
then
do
see
that?
what Masonic has available?
That's what I was just
I am
gonna say, that's a-
concerned.
that's
Could we
a-
do that, maybe?
I'm
I mean, I
concerned
think it's
with
a
it.
really cool idea.
Yeah, being upstairs,
I just,
that really concerns
you have the
me.
Masonic, you have the Abbey on Main,
Well, they're not in the district.
Oh, they're not, that's right, they're just
Yeah.
outside, I keep forgetting. But yeah, I mean, I just like to see, more than 100 people being able to see this
On a
awesome,
first
cool
floor.
event. Yeah,
I agree with you. I'm with you on that. So then we need to decide then as a board, when do you want to move it to? Because this guy, we either need to let him know release his date, we have to see if you guys are willing to volunteer a different day, if that's a possibility, a
fine.
different month.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
That's an option.
Actors strolling through the village.
Yes, that's
is a good
exactly my
idea, too.
thought, like, I could just see
Well, that's
them strolling through the village and
Right.
visiting the different businesses and
That's what-
walking in and,
That's why we were inviting the drama club from the high school
Yeah.
and
yeah,
the music department.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be him. I mean, he's not going to stroll.
Right.
But have that atmosphere. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah, and we-
My biggest thing, you're making me think, I think like maybe where we could get the Masonic Temple.
Yeah.
I would say
Move
I'd
it
ask
over.
them and see what
I-
dates they have available, because
Right.
that's where I think would have the biggest impact.
Because
Plus, we're gonna worry about the ADA
you're talking
thing.
about the high
Right,
school
ADA,
kids, the drama
the high-
upstairs at
Yeah.
Starkweather.
You could-
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you could reach out to the Richmond Community Theater, they're really big, you could even reach out to them, they might even want to come on board and help out with it. I feel like this could be the event that you're envisioning, if we kind of get a bigger venue and
Yeah.
maybe spend some more time. I mean, obviously, you
That
just saw
upstairs
what
at
we...
Starkweather's pretty small, from what I remember.
Yeah, it's 100
Not
people.
very big up there.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't want to poo-poo the event, because I think it's really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I really
No,
do.
I think it's valid
But I
points.
really want, really, for the efforts, and obviously coming off the end of Vintage Fest,
Yeah.
you know, with all that, I feel like you could really do something with this if you maybe give yourself more time for it, and maybe we can find that, like, maybe it could be the
And
design.
October's such a busy month with Tilson Street and everything going on. Let's
Yeah.
just move it to November, or, I don't know.
Or not November, but maybe like after,
I think
like,
it would
after
have to go
Christmas.
next year.
Next
like-
year.
like
I'm thinking spring.
Spring would be
We plan it better and
amazing.
think around it, yeah.
What about like...
So,
Spring would be
but
good.
Vintage Fest is, well, the only thing, and I agree with you, but if the weather's bad outside, we're not going to get people that are going to want to walk around and do.
Use the Farmer's Almanac.
So
Oh, yeah, we'll use that farmer's almanac.
if we did, so Vintage
Yeah.
Fest is,
That was
June.
in June, and that, I like that.
so then
6 months from
The first
June.
weekend in June.
August? I just think if it's a potential for bad weather, I think all those students are not going to,
August is such a hot month, though, and they're wearing,
Well, we have to do it during the school year, though, if we're going to do the students.
Yeah.
That's,
so May?
Because they can
But then it's
advertise it in
back to
school.
back.
then it'd be back to back.
Yeah.
About,
September? Like right when school gets back in?
yes,
You got the,
yes.
Like end,
Peach
mid to
Festival.
end of
Yes.
September
I don't know,
though?
I think November, but that's
No,
just me.
no, not for me, I'm out. That's my busiest month of the year. I'm
Yeah,
out.
because people are already in Christmas mindset, they're
Yes.
decorating for Christmas.
I like
I think
September.
September, like if we did end of September before Romeo flips to Halloween Town.
I'm with you there.
so
Are you
let's
ladies up
revisit
for
it
it?
then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's revisit. I think
Yeah.
this could be something really, really cool.
Because I like the idea of like, the turkey legs and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we can, I know nobody likes vendors, but maybe have somebody there that does that or some, a little more hindsight.
Well, Missy's
I guess think through
into,
that.
Missy goes to those Renaissance
Yeah.
markets. She would probably have a good idea
Right.
for the
Right.
markets.
So what I would say then is, if we're thinking, if the board agrees to, the money's already allocated, so we're okay there. Do you want to reach out and see if there's a day next September that we can lock him down for, right? And then,
Yeah.
I mean,
And I'm
then we
sure,
got that.
yeah, and the Masonic, I'm sure they would do the turkey legs.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Masonic and get their calendar first though, before you lock a date down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so see if he's available in September, what are they available in September?
yeah.
If we can make those two match,
Put it
then
together.
everything else just kind of
I
comes
just want to
in.
release this young man that signed.
Yeah, so I would tell him we're good for October, but we're looking for next September. We want more time to
What do you
plan.
mean we're good, we're not good for us?
He's good, he can go.
He's free,
book
he's
himself,
free, yeah.
He could be that magician.
Yeah, just a year.
Come back when we need him. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
All right.
No, I think.
So nothing
I
is
think a year.
happening, and you'll let us know what month?
Yeah.
No, you're letting us know what month. You're gonna
We'll talk
talk
with
to
Masonic.
Devin and to the
Masonic.
Masons.
And
Yeah.
If you can get Devin and the Masons to agree on a day in September, then that's the day,
Of next year?
as long as it's not Peach Festival.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't
As
pick
long as
Peach
it's-
Festival.
Don't pick Peach Festival.
Boy, we could promote it during Peach
We
Festival.
could promote it.
What we
I
had
mean,
thought about too, actually,
We could do a float in.
that's what we
We
said.
thought have
Do a float.
gestures in the parade.
Yeah, so that's,
So we could, oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
that would be
Let's do
fine.
that.
Your
Okay.
plan.
I like that.
All right, you guys have a year to get it together.
Awesome.
I like that.
You went from 1 month to a year. You're welcome.
So,
What you do about that?
So do we not, we probably don't need to have, after I made these adorable flyers,
Yeah, you did a good job. Just save it, just cross out.
to go or not to go, how cute is that?
so we can bring this up after a new business, but do we want to then talk about maybe doing something for October? October's an awesome month for Romeo. It's a shame that we don't do something. Like I said, like a farmer's market.
I like the farmer's
Like where,
market.
you got all these local farmers.
Yeah.
Where do they bring their stuff? Their pumpkins and stuff. You can go out of town and get them, but like, what if I offered up the parking lot at Locks Cleaners and we did a farmer's market there? Like where local farmers can bring their products in. I don't know how to put that together, believe me, I'm just
I mean,
throwing it out.
it's a great, no, it's a good idea.
Yeah, the idea guy.
Farmers markets are hard to put together.
I know, because then you gotta go and find all the farmers.
The farmers are already committed, and they're
Right.
already, and we're way too late in that.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that under fall decor even.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Push that back
Yeah,
to, perfect.
Let's do that. That's,
Okay, statement of support for occupancy permits. So last month, we handed out a,
Do we need to vote or anything on the
Shakespeare
Shakespeare?
thing?
I don't think so. We're not,
Nothing?
no.
We're not going to make a
We're just
decision.
extending it.
We're just
Yeah.
going
Okay.
to postpone it.
So I didn't hear back from anybody if they had any comments or updates on the letter.
I didn't see the letter, but maybe I didn't get it. From last week?
Last month.
Last month? No. That's probably why. I wasn't here last month. I don't know, but that's fine. So
So-
give me the gist of, I guess.
It's a letter to go to the village council, the planning, zoning.
This is what we
all
talked
the
about?
powers that be regarding enforcing the,
Right.
the business structure for first floor Main Street.
Did you put in there somewhere where we want to have maybe an invitation when somebody comes around that we can be invited to the,
We can.
You mean enforcing use?
yeah, usage?
Correct. Yep.
So, probably the one comment I would make is I know that they're in transition right now with the city clerk who would typically enforce that type of thing. And I know with, at least with my conversation with the village president, she's aware of this issue, right? And it's definitely something that she would want to see that then the next clerk
Take
duly
the
enforce.
lead.
Right.
That would be wonderful.
So I don't know if it's,
I think
a
lot of
letter
that-
now or a letter,
Right.
a statement later as they kind of work through that process.
My only concern with that is that that person, the election's not till November. We essentially, once that building's filled, you know what I mean? So I personally think we should probably state our piece with putting the letter out there. And then, obviously, once that new clerk is elected, then maybe we have that kind of more communication with them.
So when so say right now, the old coffee beanery place that's open, let's just use that for an example. When somebody wants to go there, when they want to put their business there, do they submit to where?
There's no business licensing in Romeo, so where it becomes the responsibility of is when they get their certificate of occupancy. So who owns this piece of, is my understanding, it all comes down to who issues the C of O. Once that's issued, they have ability to occupy.
Yeah, so I think that's where it went astray.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess we need to figure out how we get involved in that process, at least to have a say, or some voice our opinion or something.
Yeah, well, and I agree with you, and just enforce the policy.
that
That's,
would be
you know what I
nice.
mean, like, that would be a good start, is,
Right.
It shouldn't be up to opinion, it should be up to, what does the policy say? You either are on the list, or you're not on the list,
Are we asking there too, to be clear, like, because we can't go back in time and make
Right.
people leave.
Sure.
So we're just asking for, going forward, to have a little bit, a more say, or to follow the guidelines.
Follow the policy. So when I come in and I say I want to open, Andrea's Tax Accounting, and I want that business.
Right.
They're going to go to that ordinance, and, I'm compliant or I'm not. I want to open up a, shoe store, I'm either compliant or I'm not.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I support you issuing a letter to the village. I haven't read the letter, so.
I will update the letter with the comments you just gave, and I'll resend it to everybody.
Yeah.
And I'll put like a date if you have any comments to get it back before
Okay.
we formally issue.
Is there a motion for this or no?
Yeah, do you want to make a motion to approve submitting a letter?
I will make a motion to approve you submitting a letter that you send out to us for review,
Okay.
and get the ball rolling, yeah.
So we have a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Question? Did we not already do this? And this was what the letter was that you put together?
I never received it.
We never
I didn't get
submitted it.
Okay.
Yeah. It was,
You didn't submit it, but you submitted it to us for
Yeah,
approval.
yes.
So we're just going to do that again, but you're going to modify
I'm going to modify with,
Did you get it?
With
I
his
never
comments.
got it. I never didn't
it was at
get
the last meeting, we handed it out at the last
Oh,
meeting.
see, I wasn't here.
Yeah.
That's why.
So, but I'll forward it to you all.
Yeah.
And then also, we have, Paul, you referenced representing, because through the DDA at some of this, did we not appoint a liaison to the planning? I think
Yeah, but
we appointed.
we have not explained to them what that's for, or that they'll even listen to us. I think we would like to send them a letter to explain to them that we would like to send a liaison when they're making these decisions.
Well, I don't think it's the planning commission that does it, though.
So that was my question originally, is who
Yeah,
makes
I
the
believe it's
decision?
the building, isn't it who the certificate of occupancy is by the building inspector?
So there's a difference between a certificate of occupancy and then going before a planning commission for a site plan approval, right? Site plan approval is typically for like a new building coming in or large modifications that are being made to a site. Generally, they still have to follow the use, but unless they're doing a planned unit development, right, a PUD. So the occupancy permit, though, is typically, in a lot of cases, goes through like a building department for review, because they're looking at the individual use within maybe a multi-tenant building. So they're approving those individual units within a whole building. And usually, yes, there might be also modifications, but not necessarily large structural modifications to a building, so they don't go to a site plan review process.
So, yeah, I could go to that building that you're talking about, the old coffee location, and I could contact the building owner, I could sign a lease, I could go to the building, get my certificate of occupancy, and nobody else would be aware of it.
So that's what I'm saying, as, say, the liaison, put me in charge, I wouldn't know where to go and who to talk. Like, I don't think there's any process where I could get in the middle of that.
Right, so I think the approach would be, and I can word this into the letter, and I'll obviously send it to everyone for approval, would be, one, how does the DDA become aware when someone is requesting a certificate of occupancy? Like, we need to be part of that distribution list. So that way, at least it's on our radar, and then, you, as the liaison, would be able to review the ordinance and say, yeah, we agree with this, it's a shoe store, or if there is something that comes in that gray area, then
Right.
we'd like to have more of a conversation.
Ultimately, we want to be able to just give our opinion somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
Which-
but we need to know when someone's applying for that before
Right.
it happens, because once they, put their sign on the building and they sign the lease,
Right.
it's really hard to undo that, because now you've got a landlord who's saying, well, I just signed a lease with you, and you're paying, it gets really dicey. So I think if we request to be made aware of anyone requesting a change of use or a certificate of occupancy, then at least we're looped in and we know what's happening.
What if we did, like we did with the PILOT, we asked for a subcommittee to be put together that we can then address how this can happen, how that can happen,
I
or
can
how it can be
request
done
that.
better. Because we feel like that has been, the process has been hijacked a little bit and not followed through with. So I don't know, the way we did it with the PILOT worked great.
Yeah, I agree.
It worked perfect for, I think, everybody, so. I look at this as being an important thing for the future of the village. Right now, today, it's probably not going to make a big difference, but it is 10 years from now, if we do things right, if they do things right, it'll help all the businesses, because some of these businesses do not help each other out. No. You lose the focus of what a village is supposed to be about.
Right, absolutely. Okay, I will rewrite the letter. I will send it to everybody with a deadline to bring any comments in, just so we don't kind of leave it out there forever. And then, once everyone's comments are completed, we'll have a final draft, and then we can submit. So we have a motion. Did we have a second? Yeah.
We did.
I did.
Okay. Any other comments?
I got it then.
Okay.
Comments or discussion?
No?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. PILOP joint meeting, so unfortunately Danielle, well, not unfortunately, she's on vacation, so she is not here today, but she did share her notes with us, so I will read those. The PILOP subcommittee met on July 10th. Several options were discussed relative to paid parking downtown, the current PILOP fee, and the parking ordinance. The committee agreed that the PILOP fee should be $100 or less. The parking ordinance needs to be reviewed, and paid parking downtown is necessary. A presentation was given at the village board meeting on July 15th regarding parking solutions downtown. The board approved paid parking on Main Street and around the village park. The PILOP subcommittee is meeting again on August 7th and will hopefully be able to select a parking app that will be best for Romeo. We are taking into consideration such things as fees, police enforcement capabilities, ease of use, and flexibility. We are looking at communities around us to solicit feedback on the apps that they are using. Wayfinding is another piece of the parking puzzle. New banners went up July 25th, which include public parking banners to help direct visitors to other public parking areas. We are still working with the EV tip group of U of M to finalize additional wayfinding downtown.
Is the subcommittee going to be the same as it was before?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, I think it's, just the same group moving
Same
forward.
group, meet at the same place probably.
Yeah.
One thing she didn't put on here that I questioned was the PILOP fee. Is that $100 indefinitely, or is it just until something's figured out? Because I know that was an issue.
That's a good question. We'll have to find out. I know it was through
October.
October, so we'll have to ask, did they extend that completely?
Well, my understanding, if I may, it is $100 right now per the village council, and they have agreed in October to make that final decision. So what you're looking at here is a suggestion made by the subcommittee to the council. They're the ones that have to
Make that call.
make that call. At their last meeting, it ranged from $100 to $1, so they're still
Yeah.
in deliberation.
Right.
October's meeting is when they're supposed to tell you what will it be indefinitely.
Okay. So I know at the subcommittee, we talked about this and explained that it has to be something unless you're going to do a whole policy change, which didn't seem like that was what they wanted to do, because you have to give businesses an option to be able to pay for the parking they can't provide. So if it's $1 or $100, I think during the subcommittee, it didn't seem like it made much of a difference. So that's good. I mean, as far as the parking meter stuff, Danielle's probably working through that, right? The presentation.
Yeah, the different, so we presented at the last village council meeting. They agreed to an app-based program, so now it's just finding which app are we going to use, encourage, we're getting the police department involved to make sure that it's something doable. Correct.
So is the app senior-friendly for seniors?
What is, I don't know what that means.
Like senior citizens? Are
Yeah,
they-
I know what a senior
They know how to, I'm just concerned about the apps. We have, Romeo has built, the seniors, the older generation built Romeo, and I just feel like we're ignoring them by getting an app on their phone that they're not going to know how to operate.
Well,
And
the
we just-
parking is only on Main Street, and it's only around the park. So in general, there's going to be a ton of parking spots that are still open to not pay anything. So we're only talking about Main Street,
Main Street.
only Main Street.
Main Street
So
and
like
around the
by-
Your place.
Yeah.
It's a straight face. If you ever get, I've lived here my whole life. Most of my ancestors founded this place. The Newberries, the Thompsons, the Fosters, the Azars. We donated land for the library up there. You have nothing to offer uptown for people to make this a destination. You have antique stores, you go like.
Ma'am, a public forum was at the beginning of the meeting, though. So unfortunately, we have to continue on with the meeting.
Well, someday you guys might get your head out of here, that dark place, but I don't know.
So in general, the parking meters were meant to be able to pay for the parking lots, which are falling apart. So as much as Romeo or the village doesn't have, I guess, anything to offer, as Millie said, we need parking lots that aren't falling apart. So how are those going to be paid for? So do we raise taxes? Does the village raise everybody's taxes? Those are other options, which people will be
I
equally
just
as
don't
upset
want
about, so.
to, I just don't want to leave the senior citizens out. I mean,
Well, I
they
don't
need
think
to be-
anyone does.
Right.
So I don't think anyone does. I think there's a lot of senior citizens who are tech savvy and can use an app. There are programs within the system, like was discussed at the meeting. There's discounted or no, sometimes even no fees for residents. So there's a lot of different options to it, but we have to have a solution, because right now the solution is not one new business coming to Romeo because no one can afford the pile-up. And the village is not going to agree to no funding coming in. So this allows us to turn it off and on for certain times with the app. It allows us to, like I said, residents, we can have discounted costs for them, no cost for them. And again, still a ton of free parking. This is Main Street and around the park. Any of those other spots, there's no charge for those spots.
So you're just talking Main Street and around the park? Okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
and I
just
think
Main
we're
Street.
talking that the parking that's really actually gets more abused than most is
Right.
Main Street and around the park.
Oh,
And I think
100%.
and with that, and so I
In
feel
general,
like that's in general, like we're just looking at, because the people that sit on Main Street for more than 2 hours
The
or whatever it
merchants,
is.
the store, the employees,
Right.
yeah.
And I feel like that's what we
Right.
were looking at. We weren't looking at all of the parking in Romeo's. That's
No,
my
and if you
understanding,
notice,
right?
It's made to
There's
have people utilize the park. Right now, the park is being utilized as employee parking for businesses. And I'm not going to name the businesses, but you can't park around the park. So it's going to push the people off the park into the parking lots that are free and allow, people that want to come in and use the park. They'll have to pay, it's a very small amount, but,
And one of the items that was noted here on her notes was, which you guys can see already around town, is the wayfinding sign. So we have the banners denoting the free parking areas.
and for the village, they can also turn this on and off as needed based on their events. So like during Peach Fest, they can have no fees. It's their discretion. At the end of the day, it's their program. They can
Or more
utilize.
fees, because it's people from out of town.
Or that too, yeah.
I mean, who knows?
I mean, for the businesses, I think it's helpful because it will push some of these businesses don't tell their employees that they can't park on Main Street, and they park right in front of somebody's building all day. So,
No, I agree. I just want to make sure we take care of our seniors. That's all.
yeah, I agree.
There are options, and those are things that, the committee can take a look at in terms of that, so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they set up them, again, and I could be wrong, these are not parking meters. There's not going to be a bunch of meters. This is an app, so there's, you know what I mean? Maybe we can set up one spot where there is a credit card machine or something like that. I don't know.
So have
One pay
kiosk.
station.
Right,
A
one
pay
pay
station.
station. I know in Royal Oak, they have one pay station for people that don't use apps, or older people that, when they walk over, they use the credit card, and it's the same type of situation. So, like you said, I'm sure there's an option. The people that they're engaging have done this before. It's not us putting this together or the village, it's a company, so I'm sure they have all kinds of options.
In one of the companies I spoke to today, they basically said that in all the cities that they're in, less than 1% cannot, access via mobile or, calling, because they have other options, right? So, if you find that this community is higher than that and you need to address it, you can always add in like a pay station or something like that to address it, so, yep.
And when we were at the board meeting, what resonated with me is why we have to do this is they seemed, and I don't have all the numbers, but they seem to have a short on their parking lot budget. So these parking lots are not getting maintained like they should be. They don't have funds to maintain. I don't know. I don't see the numbers, so I'm just being told what the board said at the meeting, that they have they don't have enough money to maintain their parking as it is. So the pile-up is not there to be utilized to maintain their parking lot. So that was something we had to kind of talk through, but this money can be utilized for maintenance. Or like I said, the other option is to raise taxes, which nobody wants. But the PILOP in general, we wanted to scoot that away because it was so out of touch with what it should be at $10,000. So I'm glad they moved that down to 100, and I think this will help them bridge that gap. So it's got to be a give and a take. I mean, we can't want perfect parking lots and then nobody pays for them. So.
All right, moving on, holiday decor update. No real update here. We met today, working out the details, so no real update here yet.
So the only thing I said about holiday decor is like when we talked, when we originally got on, is make like Christmas holiday in October, like fall, really where we shine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you're working through that, so.
So, yeah, we've got, everyone received this.
I seen that. That looked
Yeah,
good.
Okay.
I like, yeah.
So we've got this in place. We've got a letter that's going to be going out to the merchants and business owners, letting them know what the theme is and asking them to, participate with that.
We also gonna ask them to not put like random lights up. Like one person has like their building and then this guy has some other weird thing going on.
I tried to ask that in my
I mean, ask it in a nice way, but we would like to have a theme across all
Yes, and that's-
businesses.
That's what this says.
Oh.
It's a Winter Wonderland theme. It explains to the merchants what we're installing too, so they kind of have if they haven't seen this, they can kind of envision what
White and blue
we're
type.
doing,
Yeah.
and asking them to embrace it, so we've got a cohesive look all downtown. And then we will be working with Christina, or our new executive director, and Verona, to really get some good photos and be pushing that out there. Rochester pushes their light program.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be pushing our Winter Wonderland in Romeo theme. Grant writing intern status, I'll let you take this one if you're okay.
Yep, and there is a letter in your packet as well. We originally brought on 2 interns to help with searching out grants and then potentially writing for those grants. One of the interns has stepped away, but Josephine Ogle, she is actively following up not only on some of the grants that she was looking into, but also the other intern, what she was looking into as well. 2 of them that she wanted to report on here today, though, were the TAP grant and the DTE Energy Tree Planting Grant. With both of these, they do require a lot of legwork ahead of time. So usually you need concepts, budgets, and a little bit more, meat on the bone to really get an application in and approved. And typically a little bit of a longer lead process, especially for the TAP grant. The TAP grant can be very beneficial for like a large streetscape program or project, whereas the tree planting grant could maybe help to supplement maybe what else you do within that streetscape. So if there's trees that need to be replaced, or maybe there's missing trees in tree wells, that could be a replenishment program. But they're gonna want more detail as to like what type of tree, how much does all of this cost, what's the installation, a little bit more detail. Those are due relatively soon. However, she did talk to the grant administrator. They said that they're probably pushing it off a little bit. So there could potentially be time if that's something that the board or the village is looking at doing sometime sooner than later. Otherwise, keep it in mind for next year because it is an annual grant that they do. The TAP grant, they also annually do it through SEMCOG, but they also 2 times a year do it through, I know through MDOT. SEMCOG would probably be your source typically, but you're looking at really a letter of interest by end of November, and then an application by February 19th of 2025. So it would be a project like for next year. But what you have to keep in mind is, you have to, get those concepts developed, So if there's an interest in that, then you're looking at getting, a architectural firm engaged and involved in the process to start laying some of that out. Because then after they approve the grant, then it usually goes into construction drawings.
Okay.
Can you utilize those funds to like fix our pavers and stuff that we have downtown, or no?
Yeah, so typically, like with the TAP grant, and I know it's kind of related to safety and increasing like pedestrian and bike safety within the area. So,
Yeah.
Being able to indicate where it is unsafe to walk, right?
Yeah, we do have some spots like that.
Yeah, where
quite a
it's very either uneven or maybe it's very narrow. You do have, and I know that it's county road, so this would probably have to be in partnership with the county and getting approvals, but you might have the opportunity to add in bike lanes on Main Street leading to the trail, right? And still maintaining your on-street parking and everything else that pretty wide. I mean, I was looking at the width of the street, I'm like, you could definitely fit this in. And that could also help to slow down traffic as well. And I know that's another, issue that has been expressed, at least to me, a couple times. So,
This could be a big program. Is there a way to get from the village to like the new Myers, let's just say, safely? I know we have the path that goes over the expressway, but then you can't really get there from Ford, right?
Or what about the Orchard Trail?
So the Orchard Trail goes over the path, but then it goes the other side.
But
then,
it comes, because it comes out on St. Clair Street.
Because you're going to have like, you're going to have this new Myers that's going in over there.
Yeah.
And you're going to have people over here that bike, or maybe they don't have the option for a car, and they're going to try to get over there. How are they, is there any safe way? And there's a lot of construction that's going to happen over there with, some.
Yeah, we get a lot of bikers.
Right.
We get a lot.
Well, we have a lot of bikers, and then also, too, we just have we're a walking community, and I really am interested in this TAP because of that. And just like you were mentioning, like the brick pavers and things, there's a lot of unevenness, and then also our crosswalks. We have them, but there's no, there's a crosswalk that you don't see it in that. So I would really like to look into this for sure, because I feel like we're already a walking community. We have the Macomb Orchard Trail right here, and we can bring those people into
We
town.
need to connect them to
Connect
us.
them
Yeah.
to us. Let's do that, absolutely.
I mean, we have tree rings with no trees. We have tons of pavers that are unsafe.
Yep, a lot.
A lot. They have not been maintained over
Yeah.
the years.
So
Yeah.
what would our next steps be then?
I think reaching out to SEMCOG to talk to them about kind of what we're thinking and I think probably like any obstacles or things that they would be requiring as part of it, right? And then, from there, typically, I would say you have to get your village involved with this process and the county involved. And then looking at, bringing on an architectural firm to look at potential concepts for the area and what you're trying to achieve. And they would help to facilitate, stakeholder involvement and community involvement in that process, identifying, issues, areas where people are going, and those connections that need to be made, and the safety improvements as well.
So we'd have to budget some money for an architect.
Yep.
Okay.
The second one, DTE, this tree planting grant. So the tree plan one I get, but does DTE offer any grants for moving their utilities underground for
No.
like city beautication? Because we
Not
have
that I've seen.
a mess downtown with wires everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, I think they typically say it's like $1 million for like, like a block area.
Right, yeah, I know
So
it's very expensive.
It's very expensive, so, I have not seen where they offer that. I know that, some grants, like the TAP grant itself, some of the funds could be utilized for those utility burials.
So it wouldn't necessarily be coming from DTE, it could potentially be coming from.
But we get the funds from somewhere.
Somewhere
Right.
else,
Yeah.
right? So, definitely something to take into consideration when you're looking at any streetscape improvements, in a certain stretch or area. What can we do to help improve the overall visual
Right.
too? Yeah.
Maybe we take it a block at a time and try to figure out.
So we obviously have some work to do to make this happen. How would you suggest, should we have like a committee to work on this? What would you suggest we do?
I would probably start with maybe a small group committee, just to kind of talk about like overall, like what are you trying to achieve? Involve the village and probably, your police department and DPW too, because they're going to have insights as to, what are things that are working and not working as well. So if you could have a little bit of a roundtable before that, and then I know that I can reach out to SunCog and just kind of explore, well, what would be our typical steps with them to know what that process really looks like.
So if we maybe could have 2 people from this board, and then we can invite a village council person, police department, would you be able to be at that meeting to facilitate and keep us organized and on track? Would be great. Okay.
Thank you.
So is anyone here willing to be on that?
I would like to be on that
I would,
committee.
oh, you too? I do.
I would love to be on that committee.
Okay.
I would too, but if you guys, if it's only 2, then that's fine.
No, we can do 3.
No, let's do 3.
We
we'll
want
do
you,
3.
Paul.
Three's company.
I mean, I can help with finding an architect.
Yeah,
I mean-
yeah, I think that'd be good.
Yeah, you would be good with it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that we can do something really nice.
I think so too.
Our pavers have been neglected for too long. It's just look.
I trip over them all the time.
And they're unsafe. They really, out in front of your place is really bad.
So if we can have a motion to create like a TAP committee, including Paul, Kathy, and Marty, and then we will reach out to see if we can get someone from the village, the police department, the DPW.
Okay, I second it. No.
I'll make the motion. How's that? Okay.
All right, and then we have a second.
I second it.
All right, any discussion?
Yeah, I have one. Can we keep her?
Right.
I'm working on it. We all have to be really nice so we don't scare her away.
So what do you like, jewelry?
That's a good take.
Free breakfast?
I think we can see the power of these grants. We really need to dive into that more. I think we don't take advantage of that enough.
I agree. I mean, we have a really great gift of getting the grant to get the grant writer, which was nice.
Yeah.
So, we have Josie, who's, she's like a sponge. She just takes a ton of information in and goes off and does kind of where we direct her. So, I don't want to say we want to use her, but we want to take advantage of her willingness to do that. So I can send out an email probably by tomorrow to the other 3 organizations to see if we can get someone so we can kind of get this moving sooner than later.
Okay, cool, good.
That would be great.
Yep, and I believe Kathy from the Fort County Community
Dickens?
Foundation, she also indicated that there were some other grants that she was eyeing that were like some bigger, larger ones. So, it might be good to kind of pull her in at some point to see where
Yeah, I
does
would
this
love to
all
see that.
dovetail together. Yeah.
Great.
My 2 cents worth, I'll put this out there to the newly formed committee. Just keep in mind, because there's obviously nothing new, what we're talking about here. Mentioning of trying to get to the bike path and all of connections, which is great. I'd love to see it. It's outside the DD.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You're
It
going to
sounds
have to
like-
get the village certainly on board as far as taking part in this. Otherwise, I wouldn't even waste your time. Focus on, as you're saying, the pavers and crosswalks and
Yeah, we'll
stuff
start
that's
there
within
and
the DDA.
branch out.
I mean, I think we concentrate on the things we can be a part of. Yeah, I
It's in
think
our wheelhouse, yeah.
in general, it would be nice to see our
Safety,
village
crosswalks.
have some sort of path over there, because that's going to be a thing over there. It's going to be a big thing. And you're going to have people just crossing the expressway.
Yeah, but John, you bring up a good point, where I think we just keep
Yeah,
it
keep it
simple.
to what we
keep,
can,
like,
yeah.
with things that, like the crosswalks, the safety of it, all that, and then as we
Yeah.
grow, we'll just keep going and expanding with it.
And like even the tree rings, if you're not going to put a tree back there, let's just get pavers and do something different. Because vacant tree rings with weeds growing out of them isn't a good look. So we have quite a few of those.
Yeah.
And I know that they're along 32, and I know that the county doesn't want trees along 32. And I think that's the reason they're not being replanted, which is what it is, so.
But at least, yeah, let's clean it up and
Let's clean it
make
up.
attractive.
Yeah, make it look better.
Okay, so all in favor of creating the TAP committee?
Aye.
Yeah, you're waiting for something? Aye.
I don't know if you're doing roll call, or was it, sorry.
Any opposed?
I fell asleep.
She's going to leave us now for sure.
I know, right? Just like out of here.
What I'm going to do in the meantime, too, is I'm going to reach out and get kind of just a general budget of what it would cost to do something like that.
Yeah.
Just so we can talk about something, so we're not wasting our time.
Yeah, the more.
$5 grand, is it 30 grand, you know?
Yeah, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, what are we looking at?
Okay. Moving on to new business, we have, about a year and a half ago, we went into an agreement with the Record, well, not an agreement, it's a month-to-month program, but we agreed to fund a monthly ad in the Record. It was requested to be put on the agenda to cancel that monthly ad and essentially place ads as needed instead of having that rolling monthly ad. Earlier today, I kind of thought, well, let's keep it till the end of the year. We could advertise the Shakespeare program. But now with that not in place, I don't see a reason to maintain that advertising unless it's on an as-needed basis. So I guess open that up for discussion.
So even if you had something you wanted to advertise for Shakespeare, for example, it's just an as-needed.
Right.
So
Just call
I'll
them.
make a motion to cancel our official advertising, it's not a contract, correct?
Agreement.
Advertising agreement with the Record.
Yeah, I second that.
Okay, so we'll do roll calls unless there's any discussion.
Yeah, I do. So why can't we place an ad monthly and put the information out from our meetings? I mean, it's a local paper that we should be supporting.
Well, the problem is that we don't always have something to promote. So we're spending $250 on an ad just for the sake of placing an ad. We can put our information out in other venues that don't cost us $250.
I know, but we're $250 a month, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, I just feel we should be supporting a local newspaper, but that's
I'm
me.
sorry, but I don't think we're not saying we're not going to.
Right.
We're just not going
Right.
to commit to every month. We're still going to advertise in the Record.
Yeah, I mean, when we have something to advertise, but to make an ad just for the sake of making an ad,
Right,
I mean,
okay.
I don't know if you've seen it, but we get these monthly ads due. Well, we don't have the infrastructure to create an ad every month. If it's something that you think you'd want to do, that may be a different story.
Well,
But
that's-
if we all of a sudden have a month we want to do an ad, you do an ad.
But that's their job, all we have to do is submit the information and they create the ad.
but even still, what are we advertising?
You know, we're paying Verona to create an ad for us when we could just pay the $250 to the Record and then they create the ad.
But wait, we're not paying Verona to create an ad. As far as with the Record, what do we have to advertise on a monthly basis?
I think we just put the information out, who the DDA is, what we are, what we do. I mean, that's just my opinion, I think
Yeah,
we...
I mean, no, everyone has their,
So what about this? So I know, I understand that we obviously want to support the local newspaper. And then, again, I get the idea too, like, well, we don't always have something to advertise. We could take that same amount of money that we advertise with them, but say when we do have an event, we don't spend $250, maybe we do a half-page ad to really put it out there, like, say, like Shakespeare in the Park.
well, I mean, yeah, that would
And
be
we
up
could-
to that.
We would have the money still there allocated, we just may not do it every month, we might just do it
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think it would,
Year or-
yeah, I mean, that would end up being up to the, whoever's chairing that event
Right.
to choose their
To choose
advertising.
that advertising.
I just don't see the value in committing when we don't have something to say.
Yeah. I do get that.
You know, when we do have something to say, then absolutely, that's our go-to paper, that's our local paper. But if we don't have something to say and, it's just, to me, it's a waste of money. I mean, if we got something to say, then absolutely, that's where the ad goes. So, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more
Great.
discussion before we do roll call?
Okay. St. Laurent, I said it wrong before.
That's, yes.
I'm learning. Rose,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Hutnick,
No.
Oswald.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, weed treatment.
Want me to jump
It's all
in?
yours.
So, actually, these next three, just to explain, you've got an add-on in your packet there that I just gave you tonight regarding new businesses, both, or all B, C, and D, real quick, which is what I'm looking at. And I'll try to be brief. This is just put in there for explanation for you guys. First off, weed treatment, there's some areas which have been neglected as far as weeds. We've got Peach Fest coming up. We wanted to make sure that they got addressed. My understanding is the village has already contracted our White to take care of it. They've done some areas. There's still more areas which they're aware of, which they are taking care of. I would say we're all set.
So
However,
the village is taking that, yeah.
However, because we do not have a meeting before then, I wanted to just put out there, and I was quoted, any area, to go back and make sure we're covered, it would take $900 to make sure that the DDA covers their areas by Peach Fest, so that we don't have areas like that by Peach Fest. And if there's areas that you guys are concerned about, I would need to know what they are, so I can simply ask the village and make sure they are, and if not, then it would fall under us taking care of it. So, again, the reason for proposing $900 for weed treatment, if necessary, is just because we don't have a meeting before then, and we'll go without if there's areas that are not addressed. So that's number one.
So can we do these in, kind of break them up?
Yep.
That's
Like
number one.
settle one.
Because I have a question about that one. Does that include getting rid of the vines that are all over the poles everywhere? Why do we have vines growing on poles? Does that include that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, we have, it seems it's years of growth, like,
Yeah.
I would,
right, exactly.
Look at the buttons, don't look down here.
I'm not one to speak to that, I have no
Yeah.
idea. My guess is, no, it's not going to include that. We're talking about the ground cover around the parking lots, around the park, around the sidewalks.
So like, are you talking
Areas you're
about,
talking
like
about
in,
where there's no tree and a retreat.
with the, like the public parking lot in front of the diner?
It's my understanding.
There's a
I know
lot
they
of weeds
spent a lot
over
of
there.
time there, was it last week? I don't know, Marty probably knows. So that apparently has been covered. If it has, great, I don't know.
What if we made this a more general topic, that we set aside a budget money to just do that every, like, quarter or
Okay.
something? Because the
My
weeds
spare
in
time.
the village
Hasn't been
are
No,
bad
it never
everywhere.
gets done.
So,
And we do need to, but right now,
just that, I
I was going to
understand.
say, I'm just talking
Yeah.
one specific thing. If you guys want to make sure it's taken care of, here we go. If we're comfortable, then we're good.
So who's going to do that? It's the, which company, the R White?
Well, all right, contracted by the village, so they
Okay.
are the ones that are doing all of this.
They are doing it.
Yep. I don't know anything about it, the contract,
Ron
what's
White.
covered. So the only reason why I've mentioned it is, if, as the DDA, we're not happy with all of the areas covered, it's possible the village missed some areas, or we think they're doing some and they're not,
Okay.
the DDA can take care of it, because we'll have $900 to do it.
so this would be
Otherwise, we're just
accepting
trusting
what's there.
The village is taking care of it, we're done, and if there's something out there, it's, the way it's going to be.
What about
Who
your
makes that
area?
distress, that
Oh, my area
call?
never
Is it-
gets
That's what
done.
he's asking.
Like, are you
Yeah.
taking that on to,
That's
like,
what
if
I
they don't
do.
hit an area, or, because we're not going to have another board meeting by that time.
I know
If
my
the
area, yeah, my parking lot, it
If
never
the
gets done.
DDA makes, who's going to make the decision? for
Yeah,
the
to
DDA?
spend the
They walk
$900.
right past
Well, that's
it.
what I just said. You guys have to tell me before, the next week, I guess, and then we'll send them out.
Yeah, They walk right
You
past
make the
me.
decision.
No, but if
I don't.
if we allocate the $900 today, who's going to make the call of we need to spend it or not?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
I will facilitate it, but you guys are going to make that call tonight.
So you're going to be the one that goes out and says, yeah, we do need more service
If
or
I
not?
get an email from Marty that says, I'm not happy with my parking lot, have it done, then I know that, okay, I'll send somebody out.
That email's coming
You guys have already
tonight.
gave me $900 to
The
spend.
problem, so it's going to take like a couple weeks for the weeds to
Yeah.
die, so don't do it like
That's why next week.
tomorrow,
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
But is this 900, what areas is this going to cover?
I think he's saying it's just in general.
The only way to do it in that time frame is whatever areas you guys email and let me know. I don't know how else to do it.
No, I understand, I'm just saying, so I mean, my concern is that if we have Marty calls and then Paul calls and they say, well, that cost us 900, yours isn't getting done.
No, we should have a deadline of when I get all of the information, and if I got a call from Marty and a call from Paul, then each one is going to get $450 worth of weed control, I guess. I mean, I'm going by the fly.
Sending it right now.
So we're not like mapping out or specifying like what areas need to be hit?
Do you want like a picture, like snap a picture from the phone and so?
Yeah,
So why don't-
specific?
So if you guys want to do that, today is the 5th.
What, I mean,
If you guys want to give me this map by you want, what, 2 weeks before? I mean, we really better have it by Monday. A week from today, you guys give me a map, I'll facilitate getting it done. How's
But
that?
here's my question. If the entire DDA district says, yeah, I'm not happy, I'm not happy, I'm not happy, is $900 going to scope the entire DDA district? Or are they going to say, well, that got you a block's worth, it's, what you guys want done's a $2,000 job?
Sounds like we should just leave this up to the village and we get what we get. That's fine.
yeah, I think the
This was
village is
just an
already
option
doing
in
it.
case you guys wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll leave that alone, nothing going on. Number 2, fall decor. For you guys that don't know, obviously the flowers are up right now, which is the 2024, what's it called, summer contract or
Floral.
spring summer floral?
Floral.
Which is followed by installing mums, where the majority of the flowers currently are. In which, by the way, on a side note, I've gotten nothing but rave reviews on this year's floral.
They're
so
beautiful.
Yeah,
pretty.
they're good.
They
Whoever's
are.
watering them, they're doing a great job.
They are, they're so pretty.
That's a done deal as far as the mums. A done deal as the flowers come down, the mums go up. The
I have-
other thing that's a done deal is a donation which is going to install purple and orange Halloween lights on all of the poles in the CBD. And that, by the way, Carl Brandt from Vera's is going to spearhead that again, and all of his labor and laborers at no cost. He just takes care of it. These are all lights which already exist. They're, most of them in the basement at the office. And again, kind of a done deal. That'll be done by September 29th. Also a done deal are going to be the new banners. I'm sorry, Andrea, am I saying this right? Are they holiday banners or
So,
Halloween banners?
They're a fall decor
Okay,
banner.
the new fall decor banners will also be up probably about the same time frame. Don't know the date, that's dependent on DPW's schedule. What is not already decided, and this is up to you guys to decide, is what's been done in the past are the 3 alleys and a number of different trees up and down Main Street in St. Clair, fall decor, which it consists of hay bales, corn stalks, pumpkins, essentially. And you all have, I assume you saw the email
Yeah.
from me, the photo, because you wanted to see kind of what are we talking about if you hadn't seen it before. That's just a photo I had that was done in previous years. Listed out here, the actual locations, and I can specify what they mean. There's a couple typos, I'm sorry. First of all, cross off where it says 2,900 proposed to continue as in years past, which is right below the paragraph under 2. Also cross off after chamber building, again, it says 29 proposed to continue as in years past. That's a typo. There are your locations. Ask me what questions you have. All of the above, meaning the 3 alleys and all of those locations, I was quoted $2,900. which is, I believe, exactly what was done last year as far as the funds.
And
So if we
those-
want additional decor, other than the banners and the Halloween lights, that's what we can do in the time frame we're given. Of course, it's, again, limited time frame to pull this off.
I think that the picture you sent was great. And if they're going to do it in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 spots, I think that's perfect.
So let me clarify, because my understanding, and I don't know this for a fact, the picture that I sent was taken from one of the photo spots in the alleyways. So there's 12 spots and 3 alleyways. It's the 3 alleyways that would actually have like a little spot
Little
to,
more.
you can walk up to any one of these and take a picture, but
Right.
an official photo op is not in all of those locations. It's a ring of hay bales with some pumpkins on it and some corn stalks.
Have we had any issues with pumpkins or people throwing them to the street or anything like that?
Yep, I'm cleaning them up all the time.
Okay. So the pumpkins in general create probably a little bit of a problem, but not a big deal?
Not a big deal as far as I'm concerned.
I've
I don't know
never had a
about you.
problem.
I'm
I
not.
mean,
I'm just saying, pumpkins and kids, they...
Things
I
happen.
know, but I've
Things
never-
happen, but yeah, we can
Okay,
plan
so
for
it's not
so
the end of the
much.
world.
The reason for these locations, I mean, I walked them, I tried to do essentially 8 locations as you enter the CBD, and then the 4 corners at Main and St. Clair, which comes up at probably about 12, which I think is what I listed.
Yeah, I counted 12.
So,
So
you
when
know,
you
I
say
took-
Main and St. Clair, which corner of that? Which
So,
Four corners.
At
where are
each corner, right? Is that right?
So where are we? Main and which one?
4 corners, so it'd be
So the
Paramount,
4
Shell,
corners. So there's a
Town
tree
Hall.
by Paramount, a tree, first of all, these can't be on the corner, just so that we know, if you look at them, you go, why is it down there? Well,
Because you can't put it there,
You can't be
right.
in the corner, there's not space, plus the visual traffic.
Yeah.
So there's a tree sort of in front of either the first or the second door at the Paramount building. There's a tree in front of Shell, and then
Yeah.
there's a tree in front of Town Hall Antiques. So that's 3 corners. The 4th corner
Would be
is,
PNC.
well, there's a tree there which Carl does, so I kind of took that
Oh,
as
Carl
the
does it?
4th
Oh, okay.
segment of
So-
that corner.
Carl will continue. to-
Yeah, my understanding is
Okay.
that, so, you know, we probably wouldn't want 2 next to each other, would be
No.
kind of a wasteful.
Right, be a waste.
What I'm calling entrance coming from the south is at Main and Newberry, I'm sorry, from the, I guess, the north, which is the Chamber Building. That tree is usually always done. I didn't put one in front of Masonic because it's got that big flower
yeah, they
pad
could fill
already,
that in with
which
people.
is
That would be
already going
really
to be
pretty
filled
with a
with
bunch
some
of
mums
things in
and
it,
so
yeah.
forth, so that's not listed on here. Main and Washington at the south end, those are usually done. It's kind of like the entrance down there in front of Old World Nouveau, and then the Tar Building. 4 corners we talked about, and then St. Clair and Rawls, sort of the entrance to the CBD, sort of from that side in front of Village Hall, and then across the street from that, which is currently the old Locks Cleaners Building. St. Clair and Bailey at the east side, I guess, which is sort of by 4 corners, and then the church there, I don't know the name of that church, I'm
Impact.
sorry. And then I figured we should do DDA office,
Yeah.
and then across from that is Speedway. So that's kind of brackets all the corners, all the quadrants.
And they do all that for $2,900? That seems pretty fair.
I
Yeah,
agree.
makes a nice look.
Yeah, it really
Sure.
does.
So we're going to have lights on the poles.
Yes?
We're going to have these at all the corners.
At
And we're going to have
these
mums in all the
locations.
pots.
And
And our
our
new banners.
new banners.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our
The banners
banners,
look great, by the way.
the banners, yeah, they,
I really like those.
the fall banners are similar to what we have now with orange, and the O turns into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
So cute.
So it
Very
flies right
nice.
through.
So we'll have that all ready by
September 29th, it looks
Peach
like.
Fest?
No,
No.
No.
September
End of
29th.
September.
Okay.
it'll be destroyed at Peach Fest.
Well, that's why I asked,
Yeah.
is because,
Well,
you know, you think about how many people will be in town
Yeah.
walking around.
Beach Fest, we still have all the flowers, everything as it
yeah.
looks
Yeah,
right
the
now.
flowers.
I'll make
Yeah,
a
by
motion,
September.
I'll make a motion to approve $2,900 to cover the fall decor which is locations listed here, and that's that.
I second it.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I have one question, though. Sorry. So I don't know if this is something that we can help with, or if I have to go to the village or DPW, I don't know. But the flowers that are on the poles, the low ones, people cannot see when they're pulling out of the parking lots. How they alternate, high, low, high, low. The ones that are low, I've had multiple accidents at the restaurant in the parking lot. Can't see. Try to pull out, the flowers are right there.
Yeah, I think they're low, those have banners on them, right?
Well, the banner, they were already low before the banners went on.
But that's why they're low, is what you're
Yeah, we gotta
saying.
find a way to raise that, there's too many accidents out there.
Yeah, that would be the village, so that's something we would have to discuss with them.
Yeah. I figured, but I said I would bring it up.
Yeah, again, I guess my suggestion to you is just take some action, put down what locations. I'd had to do the same thing, because there was a low right outside of the side door on St. Clair, the first side door in St. Clair west of Main Street, and there's a low basket there, and then the door opens, and you got yay much room, and a bike came flying by, got hit. So I just put word out, we took that basket down. Just do that.
Yeah, the only
Just
two
take
spots that
action.
I've heard so far is my parking lot and then the gas station.
Yep, so just list it out.
So, yeah.
Usually not a problem. You just got to take action, and then it either has to get raised or removed. There's other poles that don't have baskets, so easily to move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we moving on? Number 3, the
Well,
last...
no, we didn't vote. So we have a motion and a second, so can we do roll since we're spending money, please?
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Sorry, running out of room here. I gotta bring a different sheet next time. St. Laurent,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes?
Bowers,
Yes.
Putnick,
Yes.
and Oswald.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so then that brings us to our, these kind of go together, floral contract.
So number 3 here has to do, yes, 2025 floral contract, and this is, we're not voting to spend any money right now. I just need to get voted on some direction, so we know if I should proceed in the manner I'm going to tell you, or if we need to make a change and have somebody do it differently. Going forward for 2025 contract, we have what are 2 contractors that are doing what you see out there right now for the 2024. And we're at the time right now where we have to know what we're doing for 2025, or we can sit on it and we won't have the flowers, at least the way they look now, for 2025 because of the amount of time it's going to take to make a change, which we can certainly do if that's what you guys want to do. So in a nutshell here, we need to agree now if we would like to use the current contractors, reached out to both, they're both would like to do it again next year. There's no way they can put a price down for this meeting, but they do believe by the end of, what are we, August? By the end of September, they will have their quotes refined for our October meeting, but they did both indicate no significant increase. There's need to be an increase, as there is every year, but they're not saying, oh, we're going to come back and everything's going to be double. It's really going to be right in line with where we are, but they don't have that number now. But they just are asking, should they proceed with that work to give us the information we're going to need so we can finalize in October, or are we going to go in another direction? I think that sort of sums up what the question is.
So we would not be locked into any pricing right now? We're just asking them to go get pricing?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We're not approving any contracts,
Okay.
we're not signing anything.
I think the flowers look
We
great.
we just have to have somebody out there
Right.
working on what are we going to do in 2025 now, because otherwise they're going to get booked up.
Right.
And as far as the florals go, believe it or not, things get ordered
Oh, yeah.
now or
Absolutely.
September.
Right.
The only other issue mentioned was the flower grower started asking about colors, to which I am not going to make a decision on.
Oh, I will.
I will give my opinion from what I've been told. Everybody loves the solid colors, and they're all the same.
Yeah.
Maybe one comment, boy, why doesn't every pole have a different color? But the majority of the people like the way it is now, unlike the way it was previously. You guys give me any direction I can tell him will help him when he's
I think this is
working
the
on
best they've
person.
looked in a while.
Yeah, I like the solid.
Yes.
Right?
I would say maybe something, do something different next year, maybe something like red, white, and blues, but
Right.
consistent.
I was thinking the same
That's
thing,
good.
yeah, kind of doing the,
So I'll make a
Patriotic
motion
look.
to
Yeah.
utilize the same florist we're using for 25, barring getting pricing from them and then deciding on a color scheme.
I second that.
Easy peasy.
Okay, before we vote on that, regarding color, I heard one suggestion, red, white, and blue. The other suggestion made by him was he just threw this out there, would be red, yellow, purple. I don't know where they came from, but I want to give you that information that he mentioned. And I don't think I have to have a final right now, but,
Well, I think you'll be, you're slightly limited in terms of
Blue.
the blue. It might be a purple
It's a
because
deep
it's
purple.
it's a
Yeah.
petunia.
It's a deep purple,
So
yes.
you're talking about a petunia, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be slightly off, but,
yeah.
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 but it does sound like all the same, solid.
Yeah, I think, I like the
Pick-
consistency.
Yeah,
pick
I
a
think
color
it-
scheme, and they're all like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it.
Yeah. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. E, treasurer's position. So Marty has resigned from the treasurer's position. Earlier this month, she sent an email to the board. So that position is open. If there's anyone that is interested in taking on that role, let yourself be heard. We are required to have the position filled. A lot of the items, now that we have Christina in place, are processed through her, the daily reporting. The role is to assist with presenting at the meetings and providing communication to Plant Moran as a board member.
So that being said, with an executive director in place, do you have a list of duties for the treasurer?
Not printed, no.
Not printed, but,
I mean, that's basically it. It's
Okay.
providing feedback from the reporting, we have the accounting, we have Plant Moran.
Okay.
So taking their information, providing feedback to the board. The executive director handles the majority of the, day-to-day interactions. It's more being available to provide board member input in any of those communications and meetings. So that would be Paul or Kathy, if either one of you are interested.
I'm really bad with numbers, so I'll do all the other construction stuff you want, but
Deal.
Not at this time.
Okay, well, I would just suggest everyone to give it some thought. We do have to
Yeah.
have that position filled, so we will come back at it next month. Board
Melissa's not
member,
here, can we vote her?
Melissa's not here.
board member comments?
I have a comment. One thing was brought up when we were talking about the pilot of having an ordinance enforcement officer that the village employed, and maybe we helped out with that cost, but it would be nice to look into that a little bit more, of why we don't have somebody that is enforcing ordinances within our village, be it weed ordinances or sign ordinances or usages, because, right now, I think, weed ordinance is up to the police department to do, so that doesn't get done. A sign ordinance, I don't know who does that, but it would be nice to look into that. And the person that I talked to at the pilot meeting said that they were interested in that.
Yeah, I think right now, for my communications with the village office, it's on an as-reported basis.
Right.
They're not actively enforcing, it's when something's brought to them. But I agree, I think it's maybe something we put on our next agenda, is it something that we want to look at
Yeah.
co-funding?
So is it
being a part of?
is it just DDA?
No.
Or is it the village?
I would look at it as being like co-funded.
So co-funded, right?
The-
So with the village.
The businesses in town will benefit from it, and the village, you know, it's an employee, so they would need to have an employee, even if it was a part-time employee. And I gotta think there's gotta be somebody part-time within our village that would wanna do that to keep our village in a good state. It just seems like things like I said with the vines, like, why do we have that? You know, unless somebody goes over there and tears them off the pole.
Right.
It should not be like that.
And it's someone who's actively being aware versus waiting for something to be reported, you know?
Right.
And it's not that they're sending like, you know, nasty grams, maybe just knocking on the thing and say, hey, can we talk through this? Hey, you have 700 of your signs in every single window. Can we limit it to one? Or try to come up with some sort of solution instead of ticket. I don't think anybody's going to want that guy or girl, but just somebody that can maybe just be a little more interactive with the businesses to make sure they're following the ordinances properly. And that's all. You know, maybe it's something it's a talking point, that's all.
Yeah, we can put it on September's agenda.
Because if not, then it leaves the people like us to go and complain about it.
Right.
And now you look like the bad guy, you know?
We only need one bad guy, right? So we'll hire him.
Because it's not that maybe somebody's not doing something bad, maybe they just don't know the ordinance.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's a lot of not knowing, right?
I didn't know I couldn't do
knowledge.
that, or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Or just like with the village, like with, John brought up, like the weeds that the village has itself. I mean, we
Right.
have to look at ourselves first.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you look at that and we have areas that aren't being taken care of, and that's the village's responsibility, so I think we should look
I
at
think it's,
it.
yeah. I
It's not
think
only the
worth a
face of these
discussion.
buildings, when you start getting in the back areas, because that's where people park. And when they walk up to your village and they're walking and they're looking at the back, some of these are really bad. So I think that just forcing the people that own these buildings to be accountable, like I said, you're not trying to fine them for everything, but maybe knock on the door and ask them.
Right,
Yeah, it's education
Yeah.
sometimes, and,
yeah, absolutely.
John?
I would just simply like to say welcome, Christina. Thank you for everything. Glad you're here. Been very helpful to me so far.
I second
And,
that.
yeah, whatever I can do to help as far as the search for somebody qualified. And, yeah, that's all I got. Thank you.
Same, welcome, since, you know, we spent some time together today and a couple of phone calls, and you've done a lot in your short time here, so thank you for that. Also, thank you to Carl Brandt for, again, stepping in and taking care of a huge portion of our fall decor. So thank you to him for that.
Same here. Very happy you're here, Christina, and the new banners, love them. They're
Yeah,
great.
good job.
I
Those
mean,
look good.
I love
Yeah,
them.
those are, Danielle did those, she did a
Yeah,
great job,
she
yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
Look kind of modern.
They-
but
Yeah,
still-
Yeah.
but they fit.
Do they fit?
They do.
But they're clean and
They're
fresh
clean,
looking.
fresh. I thank you.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great.
Yeah, they look great. And again, welcome, but we're not letting you go. And I also wanted to tell Carl, thank you.
Yeah.
It's really nice of him. So,
All right, motion to adjourn,
Second.
third?
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.